Chapter 9.1. This is about multiplication and the division of rational expressions. Okay, we want to multiply or divide rational expressions. Then what is a rational expressions? Rational expression is a fraction. So you can write that expression as a fraction. It has a denominator and a numerator. So it can be a over b. So always rational expression is a fraction. And if there is a fraction, we must know that the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So we have a fraction. So whenever we have a fraction, we have to simplify. If there is a common factor between the numerator and the denominator, we have to cancel out that common factor. So in order to simplify, we have to factor the numerator and the denominator. So always factor the numerator and factor the denominator. And if there's a common factor, cancel out, so that we can simplify the fraction, which is an rational expression. And then also, once you simplify the rational expression, make sure that the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So, before simplify the fraction, make sure that the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So if there's any value of x that makes the denominator 0, then that value cannot be a domain. We cannot use that values. We cannot use that value of x in this case, because that value will make the denominator 0. So let's simplify the expression, this expression, x squared minus 4 over x squared minus 2x minus 8. So before we simplify this, we have to factor both the numerator and the denominator. The numerator is difference of squares, so we can make it x plus a plus b a minus a plus b a minus b. So this will be x. Okay, the numerator x squared minus 2 squared, and the denominator is, okay, this one can be x squared is x times x, 8 is 4 times 2. And we got to put the negative sign. So put it on 4, so that the cross multiply is the sum of the cross multiply is negative 2x, same as the second term. So the denominator is x minus 4, x plus 2. And the numerator is a plus b, a minus b. So x plus 2, x minus 2 over the denominator is x minus 4, x plus 2. So we factor the numerator and the denominator, then we can see that x plus 2 is a common factor. So we can cross it out. So what we have is the numerator is x minus 2 and the denominator is x minus 4. So this is the simplified fraction. So we have just simplified the rational expression. Okay, and then also we gotta know before cancellation, before reduction, before simplify, we know that the denominator, there are two factors in the denominator, which is x minus 4 and x plus 2. So there's a condition, x from here, x cannot be equal to 4, because from the first factor in the denominator, x minus 4 cannot be equal to 0, and then x plus 2 cannot be equal to 0. So from the first equation, x cannot be equal to 4 and x cannot be equal to negative 2. Okay, so we have a fraction, x minus 2 over x minus 4. That's the simplified fraction. And then we have to know that x can be any real number except 4 and negative 2. So always keep in mind the denominator cannot be equal to 0. So x is any real number except what? Those x values that makes the denominator 0 before simplify. So since there are two factors, we can have two x values that makes the denominator 0. Okay, let's try an example here. Okay, this fraction, this rational expression is already factored. So what we can do is rewrite it. You can rewrite it, or okay, then there are numbers 8 and 20. So 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, right? 8, 2 times 2 times 2. And x to 6 power y squared. And 20, if you factor this 20, I mean, rewrite it as a product, then 20 is 2 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. X times y to the 5th power. So from this, you can just get rid of the common factors. So you can get rid of this one of this number 2. Then also you can get rid of this 2. Then we have 2 left in the numerator, 5 left in the denominator. Okay, how about x? For the x, you can get rid of 1x from the denominator. So the answer will be, the numerator is 2, the denominator is 5. You can get rid of 1x from the numerator, then we have only 5x's. How about the y? The factor y, there are 2 y's in the numerator and 5 y's in the denominator. So we can get rid of 2 y's from each side. So we have 3 y's in the denominator. So this will be the simplified rational expression. Okay, example 1. All right, so let's try the same method we did. Okay, 40 is 2 times 2 and x cubed times y to the 4th power. The denominator 6 can be written as a product of 2 times 3 x to the 4th power and y. So from here, we can get rid of 1x, the factor 2, because 2 is in both numerator and denominator. And the leftover 2 and 3 are just one single number, so leave it. How about the factor x? Okay, the numerator has 3 x's. This one has 3 x's. The denominator has 4 x's, so we can get rid of 3 x's from each side. 3 x's from each side. And the denominator and the factor y, okay, we have 1 y in the denominator, so we can get rid of 1 y from each side. So we can subtract. So the answer will be 2y cubed over 3x. So that's the simplified fraction. Okay, problem 1, simplify. Okay, why don't you pause this and then simplify this now? Okay, so let's check this one. Okay, 6 and 12. Actually, 6 and 12, you can divide both numerator and denominator by 6, then we can get rid of 6. But let's rewrite it as a product. So 12 is 2 times 6, x squared, y cubed. Then you can get rid of 1 6. So 2 is the leftover in the denominator. How about x? Okay, you can get rid of, okay, there are 2 x's in the denominator, 5 x's in the numerator. So we can remove 2 x's from each side. So x to the 3rd power. Y, okay, y is, you have 1 y in the numerator. So we can get rid of 1 y from the denominator. Then there will be, denominator will be y squared. So this is the solution. Did you get this? Good. Okay, this is an example in the focus on problem. Okay, before we do this, let's consider an expression. Okay, here is a minus b. Then can we switch a and b? So it will be a b minus a. Can we do this like this? Use the commutative property? No, this is not right. This is not right. Then what happens if we will switch b, a and b? So b minus a, then what do we do in order to make it same? What you have to do is multiply the right side. So once you switch a and b, then put a parenthesis and then multiply by negative. Then this makes sense. Okay, so this is very important. So let's use this property. So first of all, in order to simplify this rational expression, we have to factor each numerator and denominator. Okay, the numerator starting with the constant, the second term is x, the last term is x squared, then the order is okay. The order is fine. And the denominator is starting with x squared, x term, and finally the third term is constant. The order is still okay. So from this we can let's try factoring each numerator and denominator. Okay, the numerator is 2 times 5 and x squared is x times x, and then we got to put the negative sign. So let me put the negative sign on the upper x so that this cross multiply is negative 5x. Okay, let's put the negative sign in the lower x, lower part. So this will be 5x. This product is negative 2x. So the sum is 3x, which is same as the second term. So the numerator will be 2. Okay, let me use a different color. So the numerator is 2 minus x times 5 minus x divided by, okay, the denominator is x times x. 5 is 1 times 5, and let's put the negative sign on 5. So this is just x. This one is negative 5x. Sum is negative 4x, which is the second term. So the denominator is x plus 1, x minus 5. Look at this fraction, rational expression. Okay, the factors are binomial. And then look at the second binomial factor. This is 5 minus x. 5 minus x, x minus 5. Can you see this? The a and b, this is a minus b form. And then the a and b are interchanged. So actually they are equal, right? Equal. So if we replace one of them as, we can replace the numerator 5 minus x with x minus 5, right? Now we got to put the negative sign. So actually this is equal to, you can cancel out x minus 5, x minus 5. So this will be, the negative sign moves to the front. Then we have 2 minus x. Did I do something wrong? Yes, this 2 plus, this is 2 plus x, right? 2 plus x. So we have 2 plus x over x plus 1. Or you can rewrite it. You can interchange 2 and x. So x comes first. X comes first, like this. Or we have a negative sign in the front. So you can move the negative sign to the numerator. Then the whole numerator will be multiplied by negative. So that this will be equal to negative x minus 2. This is important. You must multiply the whole numerator, all the terms in the numerator by negative. So negative x minus 2. So why don't I use, instead of equal sign, why don't I use or? So the solution can be either the first expression or the second expression or the third or the fourth expression. So in this case, what's important is, if you have a binomial, subtraction a minus b, then make sure, if you interchange a and b, then make sure to put the negative sign. Okay. So, let me give another, here. If you have something like this, one is a minus b, and denominator is b minus a, then this is equal to what? Negative 1. Then this is equal to negative 1. Why? Because you can switch a and b minus a over, the bottom is b minus a, but the numerator is together with the negative sign. So you can get rid of negative 1. You can get rid of b minus a. So the result will be negative 1. Okay, so keep in mind this. Okay, example 2. Let's simplify the following rational expression. Okay, the numerator is in difference of squares form. 9 is 3 squared minus x squared. Then this will be what? 3 plus x and 3 minus x. Remember? Do you remember the formula? A squared minus b squared is equal to what? This is difference of squares. So this will be a plus b, a minus b. So you can rewrite the numerator. So the numerator is 3 plus x, 3 minus x. Okay, the denominator, let's try the denominator. Okay, x times x, 12 is 3 times 4, and the negative sign goes on 3, so this will be negative 3x. And the bottom is 4x. The sum is just an x. Okay, so the denominator is x minus 3 and x plus 4. So let's check each factor if there is a common factor. Okay, x minus 3 and 3 minus x. Look at this. This is x minus 3. This is x 3 minus x. So 3 and x and 3 are interchanged. So why don't we just cross it out and replace it with negative 1? Remember? So we can cancel out this common factor and then replace it with negative 1. So the answer will be negative sign moves to the front. Then the numerator is 3 plus x. Denominator is x plus 4. So this can be an answer, or you can switch 3 and x. 3 and x is okay. You can interchange these two because this is plus. So, or this can be negative. The numerator is x plus 3 and the denominator is x plus 4. Okay, make sure, don't forget this negative sign. Okay, problem to simplify this rational expression. Okay, why don't you pause this time and then try this? Okay. All right. If you did, then let's check this. Okay, the numerator, let's factor. When we simplify rational expressions, we have to factor each numerator and denominator. So the numerator is x times x. The denominator is 4 times 6 is 24, and put the negative sign. Our result sum should be positive. So why don't we put the negative sign on the lower number? So this product is negative 4x. This product is 6x. The sum is 2x. And this sum is same as the second term. So this will be the numerator. It will be x minus 4, x plus 6. And the denominator, okay, the denominator 16 minus x squared is 16 is 4 squared minus x squared. So this is equal to 4 plus x and 4 minus x. So the denominator is the difference of squares. So 4 plus x, 4 minus x. And then look at the binomial factor x minus 4. So this is 4 minus x. So the binomial 4 minus x, this is 4 minus x, and the one in the numerator is x minus 4. They are actually same factor with different sign. So why don't we cross it out, replace it with negative sign. So you can write the answer. So the answer will be, you can put the negative sign in the front, write the leftover factors from the numerator, or you can put the negative sign to the numerator, then negative x minus 6 over x. Okay, people will do this. Let's change this x, the denominator. So the denominator starts with variable x. So don't forget this negative sign. Or if you can multiply the whole numerator by negative, then negative x minus 6 over x plus 4. Or you can multiply the whole denominator by negative. But in this case, let's leave it up to here. So if you got this, then if you got one of these three, then you are correct. Okay, multiplying rational expressions. Okay, there are two rational expressions in this case, two fractions, and we want to multiply these two fractions. So when you multiply fractions, it's very simple. Make one fraction with one fraction bar, multiply the numerators. So the numerators will be the product of all the factors in the numerators, and the denominators will be the product of all the denominators. Very simple. So let's do an example here. Okay, we have 5x. Okay, there are two fractions. So this is a product of two fractions. So why don't we put a one fraction bar and put all the numerators together? So make it a product. So the first fraction, the numerator in the first fraction is 5xy to the 5th power. And the second fraction, the numerator in the second fraction is 4a cubed times b. And the denominator is the same, 8a squared b6 multiplied by 15xy to the 4th power. This is a product, not addition, product. If it's a product, then always multiply everything in the numerator over the denominator will be the product of everything in the denominator. Multiply. Since we have one fraction and the numerator is a product, denominator is a product, they are all factored. So why don't we simplify? So look at the number. We have a 4, so 4 and 8. So 8 can be divided by 4. So 8 will be 2, 4 will be 1. Okay, how about 5? Okay, 5 and 15. 15 is divisible by 5, so divide 15 by 5, then there will be 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, how about a? Okay, there are 2 a's in the denominator, 3 a's in the numerator, so you can get rid of 2 a's from the denominator. Then the numerator will be 3 minus 2, so 1 a left. How about b? Okay, we have a 1b in the numerator, so get rid of 1b, then subtract 1b from the denominator. How about x? So we have a 1x in the numerator and 1x in the denominator. How about y? Okay, 4y's in the denominator. You can get rid of 4y's from the numerator. So 5 minus 4. So the answer will be very simple. So the numerator, the leftover in the numerator is, okay, there are 5 y's left over. I'm sorry, the 5 minus 4 is 1, sorry. So 1y left over. And then a to the 3 minus 2 is a. And the denominator is 2 times 3 is 6. A is, so we have b to the 6 minus 1 is 5. So b to the 5th power. And there is no x term left over and the y terms left over. So the answer, so the simplified form is this, ya over 6 b to the 5th power. You can switch a and y. You can make a first, or you can write a first. So ay over 6 b to the 5th power. Okay, let's try next one. Okay, let's try this example. Okay, there are two fractions and they are multiplied. So this is a product. That means we have to multiply the expression in the numerators, the expressions in the denominators. So before we multiply, why don't we factor each part? Factor each part. So the first part is x plus x, 3x is, there's a common factor x, so you can make it x times x plus 3. Factor out x. And the denominator is, okay, this is 1 times 4, right? 1 times 4. And then minus sign goes on 4. So the cross multiply will be negative 3. So you can write the denominator is x plus 1. Can you see it? x minus 4. Can you see this? Because this is x times x, right? X times x. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And then cross multiply, and then make a sum. So that is negative 3. Okay, so this one times. Okay, the numerator of the second expression, second fraction is x times x. 1 times 4, both negative. Then cross multiply is negative 5x. So this will be the product of x minus 1 and x minus 4. Okay, how about the denominator? X times x, 1 times 3, and the negative sign goes on negative 1. So the sum of the cross multiply is 2x. So there is x minus 1 and x plus 3. Okay, so this is a product. So why don't we just rewrite it? Okay, instead of rewriting, why don't I just extend the fraction bar and then make a product, both numerator and denominator product. So this is a product. The numerator is a product, denominator is a product. So why don't we simplify this time? Okay, x plus 3 is in the numerator, x plus 3 is in the denominator, so we can cross it out. And then x minus 1 is in the numerator, both in the numerator and denominator. And x minus 4 is also in the numerator and denominator. So finally, the answer will be the leftover is in the numerator is x, and the denominator is x plus 1. That's it. So that is the solution. I mean the simplified form. Okay, example 3, simplify. Okay, so this is a product, one fraction times fraction. So why don't we simplify each part and multiply the factors in the numerators together and the denominators together. So this will be, okay, the first part is there is a common factor 5x. So factor out 5x, then 2x minus 3 over. The denominator has a common factor 4. So factor out 4, then 3x minus 2. Okay, why don't we extend this? Extend it. So we can write another product from the numerator. The numerator is 3x minus 2 is, there's no common factor, so this whole numerator is a common factor. I mean, one is a prime, so one big factor. And from the denominator, 20x minus 25, the common factor is 5, so factor out 5, then 4x minus, factor 5, okay, minus 5. All right, the next, okay, we factor out, so we factor each part and then put the numerators together and denominators together. So this will be, now it's time to cancel out. All right, 5 is a common factor, so cross it out. And 3x minus 2 is a common factor, so cross it out. And there is nothing left over. So the answer will be, the numerator will be x times 2x minus 3. And the denominator is 4 times 4x minus 5. Okay, so that's it. So this is the answer in simplest form. Okay, let's try next one. Okay, for this example, let's multiply these two. So before we multiply, factor each part. So the first one is, okay, this one is x times, okay, 6 is 2 times 3. Okay, let me write it over here. X times x, 2 times 3 is 6, and put the negative sign on 2. So sum of the cross multiply is just x. So the first part is x minus 2, x plus 3, over the denominator is, okay, this one is x times x, 12 is 3 times 4, and the cross multiply is, okay, sum of the cross multiply is 7. So denominator is x plus 3 and x plus 4. So what we did is we factored this part and this part. So I will multiply this by this one over this one. So this is equal to, okay, the first part is x times x. This is x times x. And 4 is 1 times 3, 1 times 4. And put the negative sign on negative 1. So the sum is 3x. So that is x minus 1, x plus 4. Okay, the bottom is, this is a plus b, a minus b. So this is actually 2 squared minus x squared. Then that is a plus b, a minus b. So 2 plus x, 2 minus x. Okay, so next part is what? Simplify. So x minus 2, look at this. X minus 2, we have 2 minus x. Do you remember? This is subtraction, but a and b are interchanged, then you can get rid of it and then replace it with what? Negative sign, negative 1, negative sign. Okay, x plus 3 is here in both numerator and denominator. X plus 4, x plus 4. Okay, that's it. So the answer will be negative sign moves to the front. And the numerator is x minus 1. Denominator is 2 plus x. So we can change the denominator starting with x. So x plus 2, numerator is x minus 1. Or you can put the negative sign to the numerator, whole numerator. Then the numerator will be multiplied by x. So negative x plus 1 over x plus 2. Okay, problem number 3, multiply. So in this case, okay, why don't you try this one? So pause this and then try this. Okay, are you done? All right, so this means this is a product, so we will multiply the numerators over multiply the denominators. So before we multiply, we have to factor each part, right? Factor each part. And then what? Simplify. Okay, factor each part. So the first part is we can factor out 3x. So this will be equal to 3x. Factor out 3x. Let me write a little bit lower side. Okay. Common factor is 3x. Then 4x plus 1. And the bottom is factor out 5. Then 2x minus 3. Multiply by the whole, the right side is factor out 4, then x minus 2x minus 3. And then the bottom, factor out 9, and then x plus 2. All right. So from this, okay, this is a product. So why don't we extend the fraction bar, and then multiply the numerators and the denominators. Okay, this is not division. Okay, this is fraction bar. Okay, let me use one big fraction bar. So this one times this one. All right, then let's simplify each part. Is there any common factor? Yes, 3 and 9. So divide 9 by 3 is 3. 3 over 3 is 1. Okay, how about x? No. How about 4x plus 1? No. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Okay, no. Okay, how about 4? No. 5? No. Okay, 4x plus 1. Do we have 4x plus 1 in the denominator? No. How about 3x minus 3? Yes, this is the only one. So that's it. There's nothing. So the answer in simplest form will be 4x. So 4x times 4x plus 1. And the denominator is 3 times 5 is 15. And the leftover factor is x plus 2. So that's the answer. Okay, letter B. Okay, let's simplify this, multiply this. So first of all, we have to factor this part. Okay, let me use a red color. So this is a product of this numerator, and the denominator will be the product of x minus this one and this one, like this. So we can rewrite it. So this is equal to one big fraction bar. Okay, the first trinomial will be x times x. 15 is 3 times 5, and the minus sign should go on number 3. So the cross multiply is 2x. So this will be x minus 3, x plus 5. And the bottom is, this is this guy, right? And this will be, isn't it 3 square difference of squares? This is difference of squares, right? So that will be 3 plus x and 3 minus x. So the bottom will be 3 plus x, 3 minus x. Difference of squares. Okay, and this part is x times x. 18 is 6 times 3 is 18, and minus sign should go on 6, so that the sum of the cross multiply is negative 3. So this will be multiplied by x minus 6, x plus 3. Okay, the last one, x times x. 6 is 1 times 6, and both should be negative. So that negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6, and the sum will be negative 7x. So the last part is x minus 1 times x minus 6. So this is equal to, it's time to tens, x minus 3. Okay, we have 3 minus x instead of x minus 3. So you can cancel out this and replace it with negative sign. Alright, x plus 5 is not a common factor, so leave it. X minus 6, yes, we do have x minus 6 in the denominator. How about x plus 3? Yes, here is 1. So the answer will be negative sign, goes to the front. The numerator is x plus 5, denominator is x minus 1. Okay, or you can put the negative sign to the numerator, then negative x minus 5 over x minus 1. Okay, done. Okay, next definition is dividing rational expressions. Okay, rational expressions are fractions, and so once we divide it, okay, we already know this part, but let's check. Okay, a over b is divided by c over d. Then if you have a division, here's a division, then you can change this one into product. Into product, multiplication. Then what happens to the fraction in the denominator will be interchange c and d. Okay, interchange c and d. C and d, so d over c. So once we convert division into a multiplication, then the fraction in the denominator will be flipped, d over c. So we have a over b times d over c, and then multiply the numerator, so ad over bc. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. So let's use this definition to do this example 4. Example 4. So what we do is, since this is a division, we will change this into product and then switch this to interchange these two expressions. So let me rewrite it. Okay, it takes time. So okay, anyway, so the first fraction is unchanged. So we want to change this one into multiplication. Then flip this to expression. So z cubed over 6x squared minus 2xy. So now we have a product. So when we multiply rational expressions, what we do is multiply the numerators over multiply the denominators. So for this, we have to factor each part. Okay, factor each part. Alright, then the first part is, there's a common factor xy. So factor out xy, then y minus 3x over z squared. Let's extend this fraction bar and then multiply by the numerator is z cubed. The denominator is, okay, the denominator has a common factor 2x. So why don't we factor out 2x? Then this will be 3x minus y. So this is a product. So the numerator is all product and denominator is all product. So from this we can reduce if there are common factors between the numerator and denominator. Okay, x. So we have x in both numerator and denominator. Y? No, nothing. How about z? Yes, we do have two z's in the denominator, so we can remove two z's from the numerator. How about y minus 3x? Yes, we do. Y minus 3x. We have 3x minus y, interchanged. Then what? We can get rid of this and then replace it by negative sign. Alright, so the answer will be negative sign moves to the front. The numerator has y and z. Y, z are the leftover factors. And the denominator, they're all gone except 2. So the answer will be negative yz over 2. Okay, letter B, we want to divide this rational expression. So when we divide, we have to change this one to a multiplication. Then what do we do with this fraction? Interchange. So this will be, okay, let's rewrite the expression. Then that will be 2x squared plus 5x plus 2 over 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 times interchange the numerator and denominator. So 2x squared plus 7x minus 4, and the numerator becomes the denominator. So once we interchanged fractions and make it a multiplication, then we have to factor each part. Factor each part and then make it a multiplication. So the numerator is now, okay, the first trinomial is, this is x times 2x, and 2 is 2 times 1, then cross multiply is 4 plus 1 is 5. So the first part is x plus 2 times 2x plus 1 over, so why don't I put the fraction bar, longer fraction bar, so that we can multiply the second part. Okay, so this is this guy. How about this? The same thing, x times 2x, and 2 is this time 2 times 1, and then put the negative sign on 1. So sum of the cross multiply is 4 minus 1 is 3x. So the bottom will be x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. Okay, and this part is x times 2x, 4 is 4 times 1, and put the negative sign on 1. So that will be 8 minus 1 is 7. So the top part will be the product of x plus 4, 2x minus 1. Can multiply it. The bottom part is x times 3x. 4 is, we can write it 4 times 1. Then the product is 12 plus 1 is 13. So x plus 4 times 3x plus 1. Alright, now we made up products. We factored everything. So let's simplify this. So x plus 2, yes, x plus 2 exists on both sides. How about 2x plus 1? No. How about x plus 4? Yes. How about 2x minus 1? Yes. That's it. So the answer will be the numerator is 2x plus 1 divided by the denominator is 3x plus 1. That's it. No more. So that's the answer. Okay, problem 4. Okay, why don't you pause this and then try this? Okay, so let's check this one. So let's find out whether you're correct. Since we have a division, what do? This division, make it a product and then interchange these two expressions. So we have to rewrite it. Always, we have to rewrite this. So a squared over 4bc squared minus 2b squared c multiplied by interchange. So a goes to the denominator and the denominator goes to the numerator. And then what do we do next? We have to factor each part and then multiply. Okay, factor each part and multiply. So this is equal to, okay, a squared is a squared, already multiplied, already factored, divided by, okay, this part is, there's a common factor 2bc. Okay, 2bc is a common factor. So factor out 2bc, then the leftover is 2c and minus b. All right. How about this part? The common factor is 3b. So factor out 3b, then 2c minus b. Okay, divided by a. Okay, now it's time to reduce. So we have 1a. So we can cancel out 1a. So 2 minus 1 is a. How about 3? No, 3 and 2 are, there's no common factor. We can get rid of this b. How about the binomial 2c minus b? Yes, we do have. So we can cancel out everything so that this is equal to, the numerator is 3a. Okay, write down the number first. The a is 2 minus 1 is 1, so 1a left. The denominator is 2c. So that's the answer in simplest form. Okay, letter B. Okay, pause this and then try yourself. Okay. Okay, since this is division, what do we do again? Make it a multiplication and switch these two. So rewrite the equation. 3x squared plus 26x plus 16 divided by 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 multiplied by. Okay, so the numerator goes to the denominator and the denominator goes to the numerator. And then we gotta do what? Factor each part. So multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and then what do we do? Factor each part. So this one can be, can we factor this? No. Okay, so let's find out the common factor. So okay, x times 3x, let's use x times 3x. And 16 is 8 times 2. 8 times 2, right? 8 times 2. And then sum of the cross multiply is 24 plus 2 is 26. Bingo, we found it. So that is, the numerator will be x plus 8 times 3x plus 2 divided by, okay, let's extend the fraction bar. Okay, then this part will be x times 3x. X times 3x. Okay, 6 is 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. So I think I better use 3 times 2 so that the negative sign goes here. So this will be negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. So this will be x minus 3, 3x plus 2. All right, how about this? X times x, 15 is 3 times 5. And then we gotta put the negative sign, so it goes on 3, so that's 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, then that is x minus 3, x plus 5. Okay, the last one, x times 2x, and 5 is 5 times 1. Negative sign goes on 1, so 10 minus 1 is 9. So this is the product of x plus 5 to x minus 1. Okay, now it's time to reduce. X plus 8, none. 3x plus 2, yes, there are both, is in both numerator and denominator. X minus 3, yes, cancel out. X plus 5, yes, cancel out. So the answer will be x plus 8. So we have only one binomial in the numerator and the one binomial in the denominator, 2x minus 1. So this is the answer in simplest form.